Okay, it's finally a sunny day, a perfect day to do the video on push-ups, and we can see how Double Progression Calisthenics applies to push-ups. Just to reiterate and remind you and refresh your mind, we're going to pick a relatively easy form of push-up, one that we can easily do. We're going to do it week by week, and we're going to build up our repetitions until we can do more and more. After we hit a certain goal, we'll move on to a harder kind of push-up. And again, with all the exercises, it'll be broken down into 3 stages: therapy, fitness, and strength. So here we go. I don't have a camera person today, so I'm just gonna move the camera around. I hope that's okay. So the first thing is wall push-ups. So move the broom out of the way. Scoot your camera a little bit so your audience can see you. Like this. Your goal is 3 sets of 50. That is one of the easiest, if not the easiest form of push-up, and that is the first step in the therapy stage. Moving on. Now, ideally, I'd like to find something that's chest height. It's a little bit more of an easier transition, but I only have this railing here now. So, like this. I keep my feet together. If you want to spread them apart, it's a little easier. These are called incline push-ups. Your goal is 3 sets of 40, and it's obviously a little harder because you're carrying more of your weight on your arms. Now that, I like to break things into 3s, but really that concludes the therapy stage for push-ups, because the other ones get a little bit harder and they don't apply as much to healing injury, even though they can. So moving on, the next one you can do, if you find something hip height, I'm using this chair, it's not ideal. If you find a table or something that's hip height, that would be best. So just like this. These are also called incline push-ups, but they're hip height incline push-ups. Your goal is 2 sets of 35. The sets are going to go down now. There are more sets in the beginning because I want everyone to get a feel for how the exercise works. Basically, it's extra practice. So moving on, now we take to the ground. So these are called kneeling push-ups or knee push-ups. I don't call them girl push-ups because there are some girls that are just very, very strong. So like this. Nice and easy like this. Your goal is 2 sets of 30. And when, I should have mentioned in the previous stage, this is the second step in the fitness stage. So next step will be regular push-ups. Just the push-ups you see all the time. This is how I do them. I don't believe you need to touch your chin or your chest. If your chest is about the width of a fist away from the ground, that's plenty. Or you can think of your arms being parallel to the ground. Your goal is 2 sets of 25. That concludes the fitness stage. I went through it very fast in a few minutes, but for some people that can take months or years. So don't rush yourself and always go at a speed at which you feel comfortable. Now we're going to move on to the strength stage. First step will be what's considered diamond push-ups, but I don't like making the diamond shape. That puts stress on my elbow, and in my opinion, it's not in a good way. I do what you can call arrowhead push-ups, and my fingers are like this. You see? That doesn't spread the elbows as much. They're like this. It's much more of a natural motion. So, like this. Your goal is 2 sets of 25. We're going to stick with the 25. The next step is archer push-ups. They're also called flossers. So with diamond push-ups, we kind of took our chest a little bit out of the equation, so we can work our our elbow strength and also our tricep strength. But this will work more of these will work more of the chest muscles, and it will allow us to delve into things like the one arm push-up and beyond. So here goes. Like this. You want to keep your passive arms straight. I don't like going side to side. Do one side, rest. Do the other side, rest. And when you do that, that counts as one set. So you do 2 sets per side. 2 sets of 20. Okay, moving on. We get it's a little bit harder, but we will persevere. From this, some people can go right into the one arm push-up. For other people, it's a little bit more difficult. If it is more difficult for you, I'm not a huge fan of partial repetitions, but it helps some people really feel the movement. So there are many kinds of one arm push-ups, very subtle kinds. In my opinion, it's a very ugly exercise. It never looks smooth and beautiful, but it is what it is. If you go off more to the side, it is a lot easier. It's just something to keep in mind. So, like this, you kind of want to push. I won't do it as much because I'll get splinters on this deck. But you kind of want to push off with your toes into your arm. That makes the exercise more natural, and it makes it a little bit easier. So okay, and remember, if you can't do them yet, you can do half one arm push-ups like that. Now we could end there, but I know some of you are very strong, and you may want something to go beyond that. You can go quite a bit beyond the one arm push-up. I'll only cover one more. Oh, by the way, your goal for one arm push-ups is 2 sets of 9. That should be plenty for you to get to the next stage. It's definitely a strength exercise, and you don't need to do as many of them, although you can if you want, for endurance and conditioning purposes. The next one is something I call serpent push-ups, because you coil to the side. They're very rarely seen. I'm one of the only people I've seen do them. Basically, you just bring your feet together, and if you go straight down from there, that is not something I've ever seen, in person or online, on YouTube, anywhere. It is possible. I'm working towards it, but it's very, 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 very difficult. For our purposes, we are going to coil, and that'll make it easier because we can use more of our chest, and our entire weight isn't dependent on our elbow. I'm having trouble with the elbow today. The elbow and our triceps. So here's what they look like. Start off like this. You can't really see from here, but my fingers aren't facing straight forward. I'm turning them a little bit because that's how my body will have to move. So, like this, I keep my hand right here. All right, that is the push-up series for the hybrid calisthenics workout program, fitness program, whatever. It took a little bit longer than I thought. It looks like we're clocking in at around 11 minutes, but I will edit it down, and then we'll move on to other exercises. Thank you so much for watching. Your goal is to set... This is a mess. I'm going to have to redo this. But your goal for the serpent push-ups is 2 sets of 9.